Hi, my name is Katie Snate. I am a student at Saugus High School. I'm involved in many different mental health organizations and clubs, along with leadership clubs as well. And I really like talking about mental health and how important it is to our lives.
Hi, I'm Marinda Davis, and I am a choreographer for stage, TV, and film, and the artistic director of my dance company, Mer Inspired the Storytellers.
All right, so today we're going to be having a conversation kind of about anxiety and mental health. But first off, I think we're going to start off with just a fun icebreaker that doesn't involve too much thought. Um, But a question I like to ask everyone I meet is how would you measure a tongue? If someone came up to you and said, "Who has the longest tongue? Tell me right now." How would you measure that?
That's a great question because it's like, where does it begin?
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be where it ends. Like, does it go to
Hmm.
your chin? Does it go past it? Because I don't know the
Okay,
origin.
I see. Because yeah, I've always wondered that. Like, you can't just really stick like a wooden ruler just kind of down because there's so many different layers, like places where it could start. So I kind of like that, just kind of where it goes down to.
I feel that.
Um,
Yeah.
Well, now that that's broken in as our first question, a little bit heavier of a question is if you had to describe your anxiety as a physical person that was in a room with you, what would it kind of look like, feel like, say to you, all that jazz?
Yeah, great question. So I would have to say it's like the most annoying, lazy, insane roommate that sits on the couch all day long and has running nonstop commentary for everything I do, mainly asking questions about the past and future and things I can't control. It really, whoever it is, really seems to want to ask the questions that I'll never have answers to and probably never will. And that's what it kind of looks like to me. What it feels like to me is like a semi truck, like coming 100 miles per hour carrying concrete, and I'm like paralyzed and like glued to the road and can't move. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, but it feels like one thing and it looks like another.
Totally get that. Yeah, I like the idea that it's like a roommate that just like doesn't contribute at all. Like they leave their
Yeah,
dishes in the sink, their laundry is just on the floor, it's a trail.
absolutely. Yeah,
Definitely more of like an annoying presence than anything.
yeah,
But I do think that that's a fairly good description. I totally get what you mean, where it feels very like heavy on you. Um,
yeah.
that like it's a very different feeling. It's very negative energy. Um, so this anxiety as a person, is there anything specific that like has ever that you've ever done that has made you act in a way that was unlike yourself? So kind of pushed you to that edge and you just became someone you just didn't even recognize.
Yes. I'm trying to find the straightest line through this story. So I have a lot of health issues. And I was on a plane to go to a wedding in Florida, and I had an ear infection, and my eardrum ruptured. Got off the plane, had to have 4 surgeries, lost my hearing completely in my left ear, and essentially got stuck in Florida because, with air pressure, you can't fly with like ear issues. All my specialists and doctors are in LA, and I have a lot of different complicated issues that really only specialists can understand. So I was going to all these different doctors in Florida, and nobody could help, nobody could figure out what was going on. And it turned into mastoiditis, which is, a bone right by your brain. So it's very dangerous. And finally, I got in touch with this specialist, like the top ear doctor in LA. And he's like, okay, I'm going to send you to the top ear doctor in Florida. And I sent him all my tests, and he was like, okay, he's going to hospitalize you. He's going to get you IV antibiotics, and he's going to do surgery. And like to most people, that might cause anxiety. But for me, when there's a plan, I'm all for it. Like that I can do. It's when there's no plan that anxiety just overtakes me. So one of my best friends from LA flew down and we went to the doctor together in Florida. The doctor contradicts everything the LA doctor is going to do, and then basically says we need to wait it out. Well, at this point, I had been without my hearing for 2 months, and I'd been stuck in Florida away from my life, job, home for 2 months. And we came out of the doctor's office and my friends were like, oh, this is so great. No surgery, no hospital. And I think it was just like years of pent up anxiety and trauma from doctors contradicting each other and never having a plan. And I literally like pushed my friend off of me. He kept trying to hug me. And it was just, I felt like I was suffocating. And I started crying so hard that like I was like literally popped a blood vessel in my eye, and I just kept screaming at everybody. And this is so unlike me, but it was just this idea that like, again, you have no plan. And when I don't see steps forward and something's completely out of my control, that's when it feels just so helpless. And that's when anxiety kind of peaks for me. So I still apologize to this day to my friends for that day, because I'm like, you saw the worst side of me. But my anxiety goes off the charts when I can't see the way forward, and no professional that is supposed to know what to do can inform me on what to do.
That definitely sounds very frustrating. I mean, I understand where it's like all of that built up anxiety over probably, I mean, just 2 months of that. And
Yeah.
also you couldn't, like, you had no hearing at all.
No.
So it's like, it was a completely new experience. That sounds absolutely terrifying. You are amazing for going through that and managing even to last 2 months without a breakdown, because I don't know that I could have. But It is very frustrating when there is no plan. And is plans kind of something that helps you with your anxiety, like planning things out and, making that set in stone? Is that something that helps calm you down with it?
Yes, very much so. Like I said, I've had this very difficult life, a lot of childhood trauma, and then I have 8 different diseases that are all incurable. One of them qualifies me as terminal, and about 25 different medications a day. So as you can imagine, I really have very little control over so many things that a lot of people like take for granted, right? And so about 5 years ago, I was in the hospital and very, very, very sick, lost the ability to walk, lost my hair. It was just, it was terrible. And that was the day that I started making lists. I make a list to this day every morning of what I'm grateful for and what I have control over. And like when I was in the hospital on my deathbed, basically, that was as little as like I can control drinking water and circling my ankles. And obviously now I have a far bigger list, but if I don't make that list every day, that annoying roommate talks nonstop. So yeah, lists are huge for me.
It sounds like a really nice way to kind of start your day, because it's very nice to start your day as looking at something as like positive, and even if it is those little things, just like grateful just to be here. But that sounds really nice. I'm glad that you found that way, and I think that could be very helpful to others of kind of starting your day that way. So obviously you are a very amazing choreographer. Believe that you are involved in dance and all those different kinds of things. And so how has that helped you kind of stay like grounded and helped you calm down your anxiety? And, is that a different roommate? Is that someone else in a different room that helps you clean up after the other one and, acts as a support system?
Sure. Dance is everything to me, especially when it comes to mental and emotional health. When I was a dancer, I could dance my feelings, and as a choreographer now I can create pieces about my feelings. It's such a tremendous outlet, and it's a safe space. A lot of times anxiety is really difficult to put into words, as you're probably recognizing from these interviews. And dance is just a language for everything there aren't words for. So I pour everything I have into what I create, and it's so cathartic to watch these sort of dark emotions then manifest itself into these like beautiful artistic creations that also then provide light for the audience. Like a lot of times it's comforting, or people recognize themselves in it, or it changes them. And so to see these dark feelings, become art and then affect other people, it calms everything for me. And it's a safe place too, because I can kind of hide behind the work, like if somebody says, oh, is that about this, I can easily steer them another way and say it's abstract, you know what I mean? So it's a way to safely kind of express yourself.
Yeah, I really like that, especially because I think that it gets hard where not everyone wants to talk about their feelings all of the
Right.
time. But you need to express it somehow. So it's kind of nice that you can put something on and then lead someone to just be like, well, what do you think it is? How do you connect to it? That's really great. And I think that physical movement, I know for me personally, always helps so much because it just gets your mind off of things. It's just something to like fully indulge yourself in. And so I can see where dance, where you can specifically like tell a story and create that expression, how helpful and nice that would be. So with obviously dance is obviously a very difficult sport in general, but with your anxiety and obviously your mental or your health issues as well, has it become hard at times where you felt unmotivated to do those things? And if so, like how did you get out of that kind of rut?
Yeah, so I am obsessed with dance and love it so much. And everything in my life can be going wrong, but I still find a way to do this thing. And I think, there have been moments where my physical health has made it seem like there was no way forward with my career. But I just kind of always think of kind of alternate routes. Like when you when you get an alternate route on like Waze or whatever app, right? And then somehow you end up in this like beautiful neighborhood that you never would have driven through, or something like that. And that's what like illness has done. It's put me on a different path. So maybe I had this idea of like, we're gonna go straight through here and make a right. And instead I had to like go around the mountain and build a door. But when I went around the mountain, all these experiences and these other opportunities kind of presented themselves. So I'm rarely unmotivated to create, but there's times where it just feels impossible. And that's when I say, okay, well, just find another way, find another way, because the view might be better.
Yeah, first of all, I'm glad that you've never been completely just unmotivated to do dance, because I think that is important, just to like always have that one thing in your life that you're so passionate about that you can always do no matter what. It just always will make you happy. But I like the way that you phrase it, kind of alternate routes, because it is true that sometimes you get a little lost and then you end up finding a much prettier journey. It's just a little bit of a longer one, a little bit of a windier road. But I do think that that's a really great way to put it. I think other than that, if there's anything else that you'd like to add on to that about either just how you've helped cope with your anxiety and stress, or, any kind of tips or advice you have, I think that that's all the questions that we have for today.
Yeah. I would just say, even if you're not a dancer, dance isn't everybody. And if you watch little kids, they dance all the time. And I think as we get older, we get scared because we haven't mastered something, or we're not, trained in it. And it's an amazing form of self-expression in whatever way you do it. And, just like exercise, it's cathartic and releasing. So if you have the urge to move, do it, and make it a tool to manage your anxiety and mental health.
It's really great. And I agree. I think physical movement is one of the best ways to help calm yourself down, especially dancing, because everyone can do it.
Yeah.
How well it is, I don't know that they should go on America's Got Talent, but their bedroom will do just fine.
Yeah, exactly.